Before we start the video, I want you to subscribe to the best Telegram channel at the first link in the description, where we show our earnings on cryptocurrencies, and not only. Our capital that we manage is more than $3 million. Thanks for subscribing. Also in the description is a links to verified exchangers when you register, on which you get a welcome bonus from me. Let's get to the video. Friends, transactions in the blockchain top to cryptocurrencies Ethereum are censored. Ripple is preparing to launch smart contracts, and Bitcoin may soon return to growth. At the initial stage, the rate will exceed 20-0. Let's break it down. The fact that Ether's move to a proof-of-stake algorithm could lead to censorship within the network has long been talked about. But that hasn't stopped Vitalik Buterin and company. Today, more than 50% of the top to cryptocurrency network validators check transactions before being added to the block for interaction with addresses from the sanctions blacklist, which is compiled by American regulators. How does this work? The validator's job is to form the next block in the blockchain and add it to the overall chain. And this block can include transactions that are currently active in the network. The validator can decide which transactions to add to his block, and those that he chooses will be confirmed. That is, the cryptocurrency will reach the recipient. Transactions that didn't make it to the block will wait their turn until another validator processes them. Thus, the more validators are sanctioned, the harder it is to send a transaction if it interacts with a blacklisted address. Imagine that more than 50% of the validators refuse to process your transfer, and you have to wait until a validator loyal to you gets the right to create the block. Proponents of Ether write that this is not a problem and that you just have to wait another 30 seconds for the next block to be created, and your transaction will be included there. They appeal to the fact that in Bitcoin, blocks are created once every 10 minutes, and there you still have to wait much longer for the transfer to be confirmed. Also, that even if at least 1% of the validators do comply with the sanction, that's enough to keep processing all transactions without exception. And so, censorship is kind of non-existent, but I want to make two important clarifications. First, Bitcoin has the Lightning Network, where transactions are free and instantaneous, faster than Ether. Second, each new block does create a different validator, but that does not mean that there is an alternation between those who comply with sanctions and those who spit on them from a high bell tower. This baton can go back and forth between sanction validators for some time, and so the delay in transaction processing will be more than 30 seconds. There is still another censor on the Ethereum network that deals with each individual validator's personal choice. When this topic was brought up, an example with a war between two countries was given, but I will give another analogy, that if you're a validator and see a transaction to your ex's wallet, but of course you would not want to include it in your block and thereby postpone processing of this transaction. This is a real possibility, and Vitalik Buterin said that there is nothing you can do about it, and you just need to know this kind of behavior of validators. Because if you fight such cases, then the Ether community will turn into the vice police. Taking this thought further, we can say that essentially the top to cryptocurrency community itself will become a source of censorship that will tell who and what to do on the network. The news about censorship has not affected Ether yet, as the problem has not become global. In addition, after the hype with the transition to the post algorithm passed, it began trading after Bitcoin, just like other altcoins. And maybe soon it will return to $1,400 if Bitcoin does what it is supposed to do. We will talk about that when we get to the end of this video. In the meantime, an important news about XE, right after this reminder that there will be a link to our channel on Telegram below the video. And by that, you can always subscribe and get the main and useful information about cryptocurrencies. Next year, XE network users will be able to connect to MetaMask wallet and trade cryptocurrency through the leading decentralized exchange Uniswap. These are the capabilities claimed by the developers of the XE sidechain network, which just went through the first phase of the launch. Everything is working in test mode right now. Sidechain is developed on the Tendermint engine. The declared capacity is 1,000 transactions per second. This is the first XE sidechain that is compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine. When it's up and running at full capacity, then users of DeFi on Ether will be able to do so given the high speed and low fees on the XE network. If you look at the price of XE, you are unlikely to find a reaction to this news there. This is explained very simply. The bear market is still with us, and so any good news now works in different weaker ways. And also the price of XE has been propped up by the recent news about the success of the Ripple lawsuit against the SEC. But now that topic has been pushed to the back burner because Brett Garlinghouse, the head of the company, thinks that it is at least 3 or 4 months until the trial is over. I am always very reticent to comment on XE, and this is by no means financial advice. I just want to tell you about a possible set of circumstances that, in theory, could cause XE to plummet. So, the first condition is a reversal in Bitcoin. There should be some early signals that we are finally back in a bull market. It is estimated to happen in 4 or 6 months. The second condition is a victory in the SEC court, which is also expected in about 4 months. And now we have a third condition in the form of sidechain for XE, which is scheduled for a full launch in the second half of next year. So, if all of these things happen almost simultaneously, then XE may be worth a profit. But I was just sharing my thoughts. You don't have to rush to buy anything. You always need to do your own research. In fact, I am bearish for XE right now, for the whole market, but I could be wrong like all people. So let me remind you how cool your likes and especially your subscriptions help promote your channel. And then let's talk about the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin continues to be at a crossroads because there is still no reason for it to grow on its own. But the bears can't take the initiative either, because the holdings are incredibly strong right now. Here are 2 important metrics that confirm this. The first is the 7,554,982 Bitcoins that have not moved in the last 5 years. Of course, this figure includes coins that could be lost forever due to the loss of private keys. And the second reason is the withdrawal of 37,800 Bitcoins from cryptocurrency exchanges in the last 24 hours. And a total of 121,000 Bitcoins have been withdrawn from exchanges in the last 30 days. This speaks to the sentiment, holding the first cryptocurrency for the long term. It helps to believe this, and here are some predictions. Founding investment firm Equity Management Associates, Larry Lepard, believes that over the next 6 years, we could see Bitcoin at $2 million. Here's his quote: "Bitcoin could drop to 0, but I personally think Bitcoin will rise 100 times. And here's what investor and broadcaster Kevin O'Leary thinks. He expects Bitcoin to go above 22.0, which could be the first step in the return of the bull market, after the American Congress passes a bill to regulate stackable coins. His logic is that once the issue of regulating stackable coins is resolved, it will be a reason to bring Bitcoin into the spotlight. Cryptocurrencies will become legal in the minds of many investors who previously ignored this market. This law could be voted on as early as November after the elections. It is supported by both parties of the parliament, so there should be no problem. I really want to believe in Kevin O'Leary's words, but I will remind that he got out of Bitcoin last summer in a panic on the news about the ban of mining in China. And in general, any public statements should be treated with skepticism. Always have your own opinion. Thanks for watching. Your Cryptanic.